Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Christopher Aaron. This is the iGold Advisor channel. It is March 10th, 2025. It is time for another silver price update. I want to do something special this week. I want to pay attention to the underlying signals that we are seeing below the market. This is a new form of analysis that you have not seen here before for silver. So let's dive into it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you're watching here on YouTube so that you'll be notified when these videos come out. If you have 1 second to give it a thumbs up, I very much appreciate that. Last but not least, make sure to follow us on X for free at iGlobalGold. I post a lot of free content there in the middle of the week. Let's look at this silver price update, our disclaimer. Okay, so what I want to do, as I said, is something new. I want to show you a new form of analysis that I'm really monitoring in the background this whole time, but it's just gotten so relevant that I feel this is the time to share it with you. So what we're doing is up here on the top, we're looking at the silver price from 2020 to present. This is sort of normal for what we typically do here. Silver is just above $32 in the spot market as this is being published. But then on the bottom, what I want to do is bring up this chart. Now, exact same time scale, 2020 through the present. But what we're doing here is we're looking at analytics from Google as far as how popular the silver price is over the exact same period of time. So here we're showing the actual silver price, and here we're showing the interest in the silver price. Now, what you will notice is that for silver itself, for the silver price itself, the spot price, the market is higher by approximately 7% compared to where it was in late 2020 and early 2021. This is the big surge after the coronavirus panic back in there. 2020, early 21, it's 7% higher. Okay, nothing earth-shattering, but I'm glad to have it higher than it was a few years ago, right? That's me. That's someone who follows this market on a regular basis. Aha. Now come with me and look at how, for example, the relative interest in this silver itself, the relative interest over this same period of time in which the price is higher by 7%, this has collapsed. This is down by 75% from the peak levels. So stop for a moment and think about this. First of all, this is not a reason to be upset. This is not a reason to say, oh, this market is not cooperating. There's not enough interest. This is actually what we want to see. From a contrarian standpoint, from investors who are looking at this market and saying, could the silver price go higher still over the years ahead? This is what we want to see. So we can put a big smiley face on this. Let me explain to you why. Okay, back here when this level hit the 100 level for interest, notice that it marked a peak here in the silver price. And over the next 2 years, silver lost about 50% of its value. And then it took 4 years total to finally get this breakout that we are seeing now. It took 4 years from the point that the interest got really, really high in order for silver to break out. So as contrarians, which you are, if you are listening to this video right now, I know that you are not the average investor out there. I know I speak to so many hundreds of investors from around the world. I know that if you are listening to this now, for the most part, your friends, your family, your coworkers, they are not really interested in silver. I know, yeah, there might be 1 or 2 people you know that are interested, but come on, let's be honest. For the most part, you are a contrarian if you're listening to this on a host of topics. So back to the charts here, what we want to talk about is when there is a high level of interest, when the interest gets up to 100 here on this index, That is when, if we were to see this, that is when we should be fearful for the silver price to, let's say, decline. Because you have to remember, average investors that are just searching for information on silver, they are not following this market right now. Average investors tend to pile in to the silver market, but what? Only when their emotions get the better of them. Only when they start to see the price rising strongly is when the average investor comes into this market. And so what this information here is telling us, the fact that the interest is still down by 75%, it's telling us that even though there's a stealth bull market going on here, the average investor has not yet come into this market. And if the average investor has not yet come into this market, what does it mean? It means that they will still come in the future. And if they are still going to come into the future, it means that the price is going to move a lot higher still when that average investor returns to this market. Right now, again, this is a stealth bull market that the average person is not paying attention to. So, this is a very good thing. We want to remember this, and it leads me to the conclusion here, as someone who has studied this market for the better part of the last 20 years, it leads me to the conclusion that yes, silver can be volatile here over the short run, but it leads me to the conclusion that silver is going to be moving significantly higher when we're talking a year or 2 years out from now. So, that is where we are. This is a very good thing. You must think as a contrarian. And if you would like to go deeper into this and not cover just the silver sentiment, but also the physical gold sentiment, also the mining sector sentiment, we also cover Bitcoin, the US stock market, as well as the rest of the commodities. If you would like to go further with me, make sure to subscribe to our premium service called Precious Metals Intelligence Plus. We publish once a week, every single week. The updates are typically an hour to an hour and 15 minutes in length. You also get flash updates during the middle of the week when precious metals news warrants your immediate attention. Here on YouTube, I typically only publish a couple times a month. You hear from me so much more if you join us in the Precious Metals Intelligence. If you would want to sit down and discuss your personal situation, not what I'm doing, but what are you doing, you can book a consultation right on our website. We sit down, I review your situation, and I tell you what I would do in your situation. Of course, this comes from an experienced, independent perspective. I am not taking any fees or kickbacks from any bullion dealerships or any mining companies. No. I work entirely to support individual investors such as yourself from that independent perspective. Last but not least, our next private placement will be coming soon. I am focusing on silver quite a lot these days, but you should just know if you're a higher net worth investor, you can get the most reward, the most upside possible by investing in private placements. The reason that you can get more upside from private placements compared to either physical silver or just the silver mining companies is that when you invest in private placements, they give you free warrants with every single investment that you make. That gets you nearly twice as much upside compared to buying the exact same companies if you buy it through a normal brokerage. So you should really think about that if you're a higher net worth investor joining us in the private placements. I hope to see you on one of these services, and I hope you'll follow us for free on X as well, where I post a lot of information during the week. Remember that the low interest in silver right now, ironically, with prices at multi-year highs, this is a good thing. We want this to be a stealth bull market. We don't want a whole lot of interest yet. Until when? Until prices are much higher, and then let the average person come flooding back into this market. Fantastic.